rounds, right, in this division. So, I mean, he's a dang good coach. He's a dang good organized man. All right, and he brings a wealth of knowledge to this team, which will help me quite a bit.
And this is one from the Wayback Machine. But your brother Jason, I believe, was drafted here in
Yes.
2001. Let go in the last. They were trying to finesse it and end up getting claimed. And you ended up playing him with two or 3 years together. What was that like playing with your brother?
Well, I would say this: that regime made a mistake by letting him go.
They said
So,
that too.
no, but man, it's a good deal to be able to play with your brother. The thing is, he stayed with me the first that first year, all right? Because the following year, I actually ended up leaving, going to the Texans. Um, there's not too many families that has brothers that actually get a chance to play in the league, and they didn't play together. So that was always a special moment to our family. That's something that my mother and my father was very proud of. I was very proud of it to be able to actually get a chance to show him the ropes, all right? Because he was a rookie at that point. So that was a good deal for us.
All right, cool. Thanks.
No problem.
Tim?
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I got two quick ones for you here.
Okay.
First off, I just want to ask you about Dan Campbell. And it looks from the outside, looking in a terrific coaching staff he's assembled here, you included, and some former players and guys with varying experiences. And just curious, what was it about Dan? What made you excited to come join him here in Detroit?
Well, first thing is we're both Aggies, all right. So we have that relationship. The next thing is we played together in Dallas, all right, for a year, and then we had a chance to coach together for 5 years in New Orleans, all right. So me and Dan have many conversations just about football, and just being here with all these years, you get a chance to know the man, right, more than the football coach. And I'm attracted more to the man than the football coach, to be honest with you. And you just know that the type of person that he is, he's going to bring in the right guys. And I think he made this statement saying he thought about the person first before the coach, right? And it just so happened that every coach that he brought on are damn good coaches, right? So that just speaks of the integrity of him, what he thinks about first is person, right? Because this is a relationship business, right? He's done a good job of doing that. So, man, he's going to do great things in this league, right? And I'm going to continue to learn from him, right? Even though that we're good friends, all right, we do have that working relationship to where I mean he's going to say some things that's going to get to me, and I'm going to say some things going to get to him, all right. But that's just how it is because we're both competitors, right? And we both former players, so we still have that fire burning inside of us, right? Once we get on the field, so man, I'm looking forward to game time, looking forward to practice, and I know he's going to do a hell of a job with this team.
And then secondly, obviously there were some struggles here on defense last year. When you start to break down the tape and watch it, are there some things that excite you? Maybe a few things that do excite you about the defense that you are inheriting?
What excites me first off is the chance to go out there and be able to be a coordinator for this team. All right. And then once you look at the players, I think Dan said it. All right. Dan said it that the players looked, I think, confused. I think with no confidence. And the one thing that we have to do, we have to change that narrative of the players, of their thinking, so they can go out and play with confidence and get them to play fast. And what we're going to do as a staff is make sure that happens. That's our number one job, right? Get the players playing fast, get them confident, right? And let those guys let it loose, right? We don't need a lot of thinking out there. We just want the guys to understand what's my job, right? Where my eyes got to be, coach, and what I got to do, all right? And they're going to go out there and play fast and play with confidence. So that's our job to make sure we let that happen.
Neo?
Hey, Aaron, specifically when you look at that secondary and maybe some of the young guys like Okuda, what do you see in terms of potential to
I
do
see
some
athletes.
of the things you're about doing?
I see athletes. And when you have a group of athletes, all right, you coach them, right? Exactly tell them what they have to do, right? You get a chance to see a secondary is going to make plays for you. All right, kind of reminds me of my first year in New Orleans when I had a young secondary with Marshawn Lattimore, Von Bell, Marcus Williams, right? All those young guys, right? You get to grow these guys as pups, all right? I'm excited about that, right? Jeff Okuda, first year player, right? Amani, right? Young player, right? Even the two safeties that we have, right? Young players, right? I get a chance to mold those guys to exactly how we want to. I want those guys to play. I know AP is going to do a hell of a job in that situation, right? It's my job to try to tie this thing together from the front to the back to make sure we're all on the same page. So I'm excited about that secondary, and I know those guys are going to do a good job for us.
How well do you know Aubrey? And I guess is there a relationship there before now?
Well, I would say this, that we come from the same tree as far as defense is concerned, right? The one thing I learned as a pup, and Bill Parcells taught me this, is make sure you try to surround yourself from guys from the same tribe, right? We're from the same tribe as far as coverage, right? So that attracted me to AP, all right, as far as the split safety coverage they did with the Rams, all right? I've been a part of Vic's system for a while, right? Even played for Vic when I was with the Texans. So, again, a lot of these coaches that you're going to see that's with me, right, is from the same tribe, right? Now, again, I learned it from Bill Parcells back in the day, and I haven't moved from that thought process ever.
Thanks.
KB.
Hey, welcome, Coach Glenn. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
We can discuss 4-3 versus 3-4 later on, but I got a question. You were involved in one of the big games in Detroit history, the 1997 game with the Jets and Lions, Barry Sanders 2000, and Reggie Brown's injury. What do you remember from that game?
Are you really going to bring that back up?
I got to bring it up.
Okay. Now, I tell this story actually quite a bit. Now, that was a game I think both teams were fighting for the playoff.
Right.
Both teams were fighting for the playoffs, all right? I think that was Bill Parcells' first year, right? And it was was that the last game of the season?
Last game of the year.
Last game of the season. All right. Here's what I will tell you, right? Barry Sanders had maybe 40 yards in the first half, right? If that. I think he needed 150 to go for was it 2,000 or something like that?
2000.
Man, you know this story. Why are you asking me this? You're making me relive this whole story. No, but anyway, he didn't have a lot of yards in the first half. And the thing is, I thought we were winning the game. And then he comes out the second half just on a terror. And I remember the one play, right? He made a move on our corner, Otis Smith. Otis Smith tried to trip him and missed him. And I tried to chase him down. I don't know if he scored or what. But when I chased him down, I looked up. That was his 2,000 yards. So I'm on tape for tackling Barry Sanders for his 2,000 yards. All right? That's what you want to hear, right?
Okay, okay. That's what I want to hear.
I remember that. You do too. You could have told the story. All good. That's all good, though. All good.
Right.
Corey Woods.
Hey, Coach. Recently, former Steelers coach Bill Cowher said that he never viewed the Lions as a tough team. What type of imprint are you going to put on that defense to change that perception?
Well, I would say this, because we weren't here, so we don't know what type of team it was, right? But I will tell you this, all right? You don't win in this game without toughness, right? You don't win this game without toughness, all right? You saw our head coach. You saw his press conference, all right? And that's what we're all about, right? That's what we've been about in New Orleans, right, as a tough-minded team, right? So we're going to make sure we instill that into the players so they understand what wins in this team. Tough, smart, confident, and athletic players, right? And that's what we're looking for out there. All right, so if Bill Cowher said that, I mean, he's right about what wins in this league. It's tough players that we're going to make sure we get.
Thanks a lot.
Ben.
Hey, Coach. Nice to virtually meet you here. You coached against this team last year, and I kind of want to go back to the young DBs, the Okudas, the Amanis, and just was there anything that stood out from those guys leading into that game, the game itself, or even like the week in review on that Monday or anything? And anything that when you got this job, did your mind go back to like, man, I finally get to work with this guy and kind of get this out of him? Anything like that?
Well, I would say this. When I coached against you guys last year, I had two corners that was out of the game. All right. So my focus was on the two corners that I had. So to be honest with you, but since taking this job and looking at the secondary as a whole of what we have, man, like I said before, I'm excited to get my hands on these young guys. Again, when you have guys of that age, right, you can mold them and you can train them exactly the way you want them to go, right? Again, it reminded me of my first couple of years in New Orleans of getting the guys that we had, right? So again, between me and AP and Brian Duker, man, we're going to train these guys exactly how we want them to go, what they want to look at, right, and make sure that we do a good job with those guys because we need those guys to play well, right? And they will play well, right? We're confident those guys can come out and understand exactly what we're doing, all right, and can perform to the level that we need to perform at.
Dave.
Hey, G, welcome to town. Good to meet you virtually. We've seen some odd man front elements, obviously, here the last few years, like the Patriots version of it, I guess. If I'm not mistaken, you'll be running more of like the Steelers version, maybe. Can you just explain the differences between the two and maybe what you need from your defense, like lengthwise in the front seven?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, because we're still in the process of evaluating what we have, 3-4. All right, so I don't want to sit back and just say this is who we're going to be without making sure we have a full evaluation of who we have. All right, because the number one thing that we're going to do as a staff, is we're going to make sure that it's not scheme them players, it's players making sure we fit them to a scheme, right? And that's our number one goal, to make sure we put the players in position to be successful.
That makes sense. Is that the root of your philosophy, though? I mean, is there coming up where you came up as a player, is the 3-4, at the heart of what you like to do?
Well, I would tell you this. The good thing about the systems that I've been in, all right, last year I was in a 4-3 for 5 years. All right, before that, with Cleveland and the Jets, I was in the 3-4. Right, so I'm well versed on both of those systems. Right, again, that helps me as far as who do we have, right, and we make sure we put those guys in positions. So again, I've been part of both systems, well versed on both systems, right, and I'm gonna make sure we got the players right. They're gonna fit exactly how we need them to play.
Last thing for me is just how do you see both Trey Flowers and Romeo Okwara, should he be back, fitting into your defense? Their skill sets, what do you like about them? How would you envision using those guys?
Well, obviously, Romeo had 10 sacks. All right, so he's a pressure player. All right, so every team in this league, every coach in this league wants a pressure player. All right, so if he's to be back with us, which you hope that we get a chance to get him back, right, we're going to have him rushing the quarterback, right? That's what he does best, right? And again, we're going to put him in position to do what he do best, and that's get after the quarterback, right? With Trey Flowers, there's a lot of things he can do. All right, you can reduce that guy down, put him at a 3 technique, and let him go one-on-one against the guard. Or you can put him out on the edge, all right, as a defensive end, and let him go against tackles. So he has a unique skill set you can tap into, right? We want to make sure as we continue to study him, all right, to put him in the best position to be successful.
Appreciate it. Sorry about the background noise. Just picked my kids up from school.
Man, you're right. You look like you're driving. Are you in the car?
Yeah, I'm sitting outside my daughter and son's school. I had to pick up duty today. Dad duty.
Please don't be driving. Please.
I'm parked right now. I'm parked.
I got you.
So.
All good.
All right, we got time for 2 more. Mike Rosson, go ahead.
Hey, Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm curious, who would you say is your biggest influence in coaching? I know you mentioned Parcells here and there, and I may have just given away the answer, but who do you feel like is your biggest coaching influence?
Well, I would say Bill Parcells, number one, all right, because he actually guided me as far as coming into this league, all right, because he didn't want me to coach initially, all right, and we had a back and forth about that for a while, all right, so I actually came in as a scout, and I would tell you that was the best advice I could have gotten as a young guy trying to be a coach, all right, because now I understand, like, in totality what I'm looking at as far as offensive linemen, quarterbacks, defensive linemen, just the whole gamut, all right? And I did that for 4 years, all right? I did it as an in-house scout, and I did it as a college scout, all right? So that helped me out a lot. Then most definitely Coach Payton, all right, who I was just with for 5 years. Man, the way that he interact with players, the way that he holds his staff meetings, he does a great job, all right? He's more of a black and white person. Here's what it is, all right? Here's how we got to get our players to play hard. Right? Here's the things we need to do on a day-to-day basis, right? And those things are very simple, right? But they're direct, right? And players need that. Players need structure, need direct answers on how to do things, and they appreciate that, right? Because it takes out a lot of fluff, right, and gives them direction exactly how they want to operate, how we try to operate, right? And I took that from Coach Payton.
Just for clarity's sake, did Bill not want you to coach ever, or just he didn't want you to start?
No. He didn't want me to start out coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't want me to start out coaching. Again, he told me, I think you have a chance to be a head coach with your personality, all right, and your demeanor. So let's make sure we understand exactly what we're looking at, right? Not just on the defense side of the ball, but on the offense side of the ball also, all right? So those things helped me out a lot, all right, to be able to go in-house, all right, and understand how do guys look, right, when they're in the league right now. And then in college, right, potentially what can they be, right? And that taught me a lot about looking at guys and projecting them what they're going to be, right? And again, best advice I've had, right, helped me as a coach, helped me as a young coach, right, continue to help me as I continue to go in this league.
And I said one question Dave asked about Trey and Romeo. Linebacker-wise, obviously there's varied positions in there, but is there a type of linebacker that you feel will work better for what you want to do?
Yes, linebackers that can make plays.
That's fair. I walked into that. But from like, is like, do you feel like there's speed, or like, is there a skill standpoint? Like, do you prefer bigger guys?
Listen, I love speed. All right, I love big guys too. Right, I like big guys with speed. All right, so, I mean, it's just, man, if we get good players, right, players that can run, hit, cover, can do all those things. Man, everybody wants those players. Come on, I mean, I was here to be lying and said I want small guys that's 200. I want big guys that can run. Right? We all want that. All right, but we want to make sure that we get the right guys. Right? First off, character guys. Right? That we know that your character's going to show up on the field at some point. Right? So you usually get good character guys. Right? You know you're going to end up having a good team. Right? And then if you have guys that usually get good character guys. Right? You know you're going to end up having a good team. Right? And then if you have guys that with the athletic ability that we're looking for. Right? That's going to even make us better. Right, so that's what we're looking for.
Cool. Appreciate it. Thanks, Aaron.
All right, Justin, last one.
Hey, I just wanted to kind of wrap this up with a theme that both you and Dan have touched on with the defense last year playing slow, timid, confused, whatever word you want to use, kind of all the same. How do you get this group playing fast quickly? Because that was the third year of a scheme they were just in, and they're still playing that way. How do you get them playing faster without oversimplifying things?
Well, I think the first thing you let those guys know, and like a guy like Okuda, listen, let your best be good enough for us, right? Let your best, right? Don't try to live up to be the third pick in the draft, right? We don't need you to do that, right? We just need you to be the best Okuda you can be, and that'll be good enough for us, right? And whatever that is, right, it's going to come with some competition also, right? Meaning other guys going to be behind you. They're going to be pushing for your job too, right? And that's just what we're about, right? Everybody on this defense is going to have somebody that's going to be competing against them for their job, all right? So the next thing is give them direct responsibility, right, of what their job is, right? If your job is to go cover this guy, you cover this guy, you don't let him catch it, all right? So now it takes a lot of thinking out, all right? So you look at the tape, you see guys in stacks and bunches, they don't know what to do, all right? We don't want to make sure that's not happening with our guys, right? So that takes a lot of confusion out. And when you're not confused, you're able to play fast, right? You know what you're doing, and then you can go make plays. We want these guys to be able to do that as much as they can, all right? So we want this defense. I'm not saying we're going to be simple to a target, all right? But we're going to be simple enough for our guys to know exactly what they're doing so they can go out there and perform their duties.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All good?
All good.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.